When you give gifts, you like to knock them out of the park. Airwick Essential Mist Diffuser's chic design, long-lasting scents, and effortless setup makes it the kind of gift that feels complete the moment it's unwrapped. Perfect for your favorite dinner party host or that friend who loves a cozy night in. Plus, its cordless design means you can easily take this gentle fragrance with you from room to room. Airwick Essential Mist. Ready to gift. Ready to uplift.
Here for the Lowe's early Black Friday deals? You're right on time for some of our biggest savings. We're talking up to 50% off select major appliances. Plus, up to an extra 25% off when you bundle select major appliances. Holiday lights going up soon? Select ladders are up to 50% off right now. Get Black Friday prices without the Black Friday crowds. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid through 11/19. Selection varies by location. Select locations only. While supplies last. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Dermatologists have long highlighted the benefits of indoor humidity for healthy, glowing skin. Dry air can start damaging your skin in just 30 minutes. That's where Canopy Humidifier comes in. Recommended by leading dermatologists, the Canopy Humidifier is a completely reimagined humidifier with invisible, clean moisture, the best kind for your skin. Go to getcanopy.co to save $25 on your purchase today with Canopy's filter subscription. Even better, use code SIRIUS to save an additional 10% off your Canopy purchase. Your skin will thank you.
At Capella University, we believe accessible education can make a difference. That's why we offer scholarship opportunities to all eligible students. Un futuro diferente está más cerca de lo que crees con Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
Hey neighbor, this holiday season, Birch Lane is here to help you celebrate with friends and family. From guest-ready dining tables to cozy sofas that fit the whole crew, our classic furniture and decor are crafted to last. And with fast, free delivery, you can be ready for holiday hosting in days, not weeks. So you can spend time on what matters most. It's classic style for joyful living. Shop Birch Lane, a Wayfair specialty brand at birchlane.com.
You're listening to the Archaeology Podcast Network.
You have my sword.
And you have my bow.
And my trowel.
Hi, you're listening to episode 56 of And My Trowel, where we look at the fantastic side of archaeology and the archaeological side of fantasy. I'm Ash.
And I'm Tilly.
And this is the second part of our discussion with conservator and spooky season expert, Jessica Van Dam, chatting all about Korean demons. Woo-hoo! It's so great to have you here with us.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, so let's just remind ourselves of the current scenario. By the way, before I do, I just want to mention to listeners, again, those of you who listened to the last episode will know this already, but I am very ignorant when it comes to anything to do with Korean demons or Korean folklore or mythology in general, whereas Jess and Ash are not only big fans, but they're such fans that it took me a little second longer to join the recording room. And when I joined in, they were in the full midst of a whole discussion about different kinds of Korean dramas that they've watched and everything, and it honestly went on for about 15 minutes before I was able to alert them to my presence. So that just shows you we have two
15
very keen
minutes.
enthusiasts.
Come on.
It wasn't
I'm known to
15.
exaggerate something.
It's fine, Jess. I'll send you my Rex. You can send me yours.
Oh, yes, please do. Yes. We can put them in the show notes if people get enough requests for it. You know, it'll be fine.
Yeah, if people want to, maybe we'll have indeed at the bottom of the show notes for this episode, we'll put a little section with Ash and Jess's recommendations for Korean mythology-inspired books and all sorts of things and fantasies and, dramas and
Dramas.
stuff.
Yeah.
If you want to expand your repertoire of dramatic films and those kinds of things, go and check out the show notes. There's a big list there of recommendations. So let's remind ourselves again of the current scenario and our current quest. So we have been sent a box of miscellaneous artefacts by the Jinu Preservation Society, which we plan to include in our upcoming exhibition on dokkaebi, which I probably have said completely wrong. Dokkaebi Through the Ages
Dokkaebi
is the name of the exhibition. Dokkaebi.
I think you got it. You're okay.
Okay, there we go. However, the catch is that, as far as we believe at least, maybe at least one of the objects that's in the box that they sent us has been possessed by a demon. So we need to do two things. First of all, as always, we need to check that all of the objects are correctly conserved in preparation for the exhibition. And secondly, we need to check whether any of them are possessed by a demon. And if they are, make sure that they won't cause any issues.
So, like, casually just checking if it's got any demon possession. That's fine.
Well, we learned last episode that we just have to knock 3 times. first.
Right? Or cough 3 times.
There we go.
Well, that's entering a bathroom.
At least if it's in the lavatory. Yeah, that's only a bathroom. Okay. Is the box in a bathroom?
I don't know, but maybe if there's a bathroom ghost in one of the objects, then maybe they won't know that they're not in a bathroom. So maybe we should have a sign up outside the exhibition space saying, please cough 3 times before entering this room.
Or like put a sign in the box, you're not in a bathroom.
Just put us on the inside. Like, this is not a bathroom.
And they're like, we have to go to a different bathroom.
Oh, no.
Do you know what? I think they would be very polite about it, so I think it'd be fine. Yeah. But maybe let's start looking at the conservation part.
Yes, good idea. So last episode, we talked a little bit, Jess, about the recent Korean workshop that you attended, which was in Korea. And I'm not just saying Korean workshop like it was a workshop on Korea. It was a workshop in Korea about conservation of specifically Korean material culture. So we talked about the folding screens already and different sort of materials like paper things and everything. So what sort of examples can you send us from that? I think there is some kind of folding screen in this box, actually. So how would you approach that, for example?
So for the folding screen, so I found out, I didn't know this before, but one of the distinctive features of a Korean folding screen versus a Chinese or Japanese or other folding screen is that it has little legs or little feet. So there's just, I mean, they're really little. They're not, they don't have to be like actual like carved feet, but they're just little ends on the bottoms. So it's lifted slightly above the ground. And then the silk, I don't know how often you've studied a folding screen, but for example, Japanese folding screens, they have silk lining the back of the entire screen. And then they usually have a painting or an embroidery on the front with paper or colored silks and stuff like that. But on Korean screens, only the 2 end panels have the silk backing, and then the rest is paper. So those are distinctive features. And so you can tell in what style a folding screen was mounted based on where there's silk and where there's paper and if there's little feet and, what little accessories are on it, not on it.
What does it indicate if it doesn't have silk on the bag? That it's meant to be seen through?
Well, there's still another layer. There's still like paper on both sides, but the paper is so dense that you don't really see light through it. Or at least I didn't. Maybe they displayed it differently. But yeah. There's so many layers of paper. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. And is that the same? So that's on a folding screen. Now I feel like there's maybe some sort of hanging scroll in here as well. Do they have similar? Is that made of similar kind of paper and similar materials to the folding screen, or will that be created differently?
Similar materials, certainly. So hanji is Korean paper, and that's typically what the paintings are done on, although there are silk paintings as well. And then there's also embroidery that was very popular in certain eras within Joseon, which was the dynasty, the really big and most well-known dynasty. But I think it lost favor in the last century, but it's coming back again. Very interesting. I love embroidery. So there's that. And then I think from what I understand, and I am not an expert on this, I think a lot of it has to do with the proportions of the silk sort of framing of the hanging scroll, and then what kind of paper is used. And some of them have these little hangy tassels, which are very distinctive for Korean mounting. So then if they don't have certain features of those, those kind of things, sometimes that indicates that it was remounted somewhere else. And remounting Asian paintings in general is a very common practice, both in museums and the art world. If the silk is deteriorating, they'll put the painting somewhere else or on something else, which is why sometimes it's done in a Japanese way.
But so it's not actually connected with the silk?
Yeah. Well, it's adhered, but it's a bunch of different materials making up the one object, if that makes sense.
Oh.
I'm using a lot of hand gestures that no one can see.
We can picture them. That's all good. No, but that's really fascinating because indeed from the outside, this little screen and hanging scroll that we have looks, like it's just made from one kind of material. But actually now that I'm looking at it closely, now that you've pointed these things out, I can see these different kinds of materials. And this one seems to have a tiger on it.
Is there a magpie on it too?
Oh, maybe?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah, that's a magpie.
Yes, that's a magpie.
And it's probably a hojakdo, which is it's a minhwa painting, and so it's oh my god, why are words so hard today? It's a sort of folk painting, and so not just the elite would have these kind of paintings in their homes, the common people would also have these in their homes, and so that's cool.
Oh, really? Oh, that is really interesting.
Yeah, they were for good luck. They were painted for good luck.
The tiger looks a bit strange.
Oh, interesting. So historically, Korea was sort of envisioned as like a tiger, as like the nation was a tiger. And the elite especially identified with the tiger as this sort of regal, powerful creature. And then the magpie typically represented the sort of common people. And so during periods where the commoners were not as happy with the elite and ruling classes, they would often depict the tiger as sort of a little derpy, if you will, and the magpie sort of making fun of the tiger. And so that was like a fun little play on, like this standard sort of like, the powerful tiger and the silly magpie, but really it's the silly tiger and the smart magpie is the common people.
So that's why if you've seen K-pop Demon Hunters, there's the tiger and then the little magpie. And actually the hat looks very similar to what the magpie wears in K-pop Demon Hunters that's in the box. What's that?
That's called a gat. And so it's a very common style hat that was worn primarily by the upper classes. It's made out of horsehair and fish glue and ink, I think. I think that's what it was. And I mean, if you kind of think of a Western top hat, it's not dissimilar, a little flatter and straighter. But again, if you've seen K-pop Demon Hunters, the Sajo boys definitely rocked a gat. And
they do.
They did. So my personal interpretation of K-pop Demon Hunters, because of course I interpreted it, is that the hat that was made for the quote unquote quote ruling class tiger is stolen by the common people magpie. And so that's why he keeps stealing the hat, because he knows what's happening. And the little tiger doesn't. And I love him deeply. I love them both.
I think the tiger is actually called Derpy as well, I think. Is he not?
That was maybe intentional. Word choice.
Yeah. Derpy the tiger. That's true. And in K-pop Demon Hunters as well, you have not only Jinu, who is one of the main characters, you have the demons, but you have the Saja boys, which are the K-pop demon boy band.
I am so lost right now.
Okay, so should we give a brief summary of K-pop Demon Hunters for those who've not seen it?
Go for it. Go for it.
We'll try not to give too much spoilers. So the concept is that there's the girl group Huntrix, and they are essentially shamans. It's not explicitly said, but that's the vibe that they're giving off. And so they hunt demons, and their singing creates this like force field between our world and the underworld. So that's the Honmoon is the gate and between worlds. And so then there's Jinu, the demon, and he creates this demon boy band, the Saja boys. And we is the sort of like Demon King-esque fire dude. He's just like a ball of fire. He's like, yes, go collect souls for me. And so the demon boy band goes and collects the souls and tries to destroy the Honmoon. But obviously Jinu is, has greater depth. But yeah, it's
got so many songs.
Oh my God, it's so catchy. It's so good. Even if you think you won't like it, catchy. You should watch it. Just give it a shot. It's like 2 hours. It's not that much of your time. Just try it. It's so good.
It's brilliant. And it has so much of Korean folklore and mythology in it as well. Like the more you dive into it, you see the different creatures, but you also see the kind of layers of shamanism and Buddhism and
Confucianism.
Thank you very much. In it. So you see all these different layers to it, and it's just so well done.
Well, I definitely will watch it at some point because so many people are recommending it to me. I just, honestly, I didn't have a chance to before this recording, which I'm now regretting because I do feel very lost, but it's very interesting to hear about it. By the way, I just realized I completely forgot something.
What?
I agreed to help clear up after the Gnomish Music Festival.
Why would you agree to that?
Well, I mean, to be fair, they're so small. All we need to do is probably just grab the dustpan and brush and we'll be done in like 2 minutes.
Yeah, but you might accidentally sweep one of them up. Okay, fine. That's fine. Okay, well, let's quickly do that and then we'll be done. Okay, that was actually really quick.
It was, right? Okay, so now that we've finished clearing up and everything, we can finally focus on completing this quest. So we've discussed some of the interesting facts about Korean material culture and different aspects of conserving Korean artifacts, what we need to keep in mind with the way that they're built and the material buildup. But what about the second part, checking for demon possession? So you guys were talking about a lot of different things with reference to K-pop demon hunters, that you can have then demons that are people that then inhabit objects or use objects and all that kind of thing. So, I mean, how can you actually tell if an object is being possessed by a demon?
Vibes? I mean, I'm not particularly sensitive to the supernatural. So, but there are people that are. For example,
what do you mean? We brought you on this podcast for that very reason.
Well, I maybe lied on my CV about my supernatural experience, but
oh my god,
it's just a passion, guys. I'm just an enthusiast. I am not a shaman. I am not a mudang. I am not a member of Hundrix. Much as I wish.
What?
I know.
You haven't been to Jeju Island? I'm so annoyed.
I actually have not been to Jeju Island, and I'm still mad about it. I'd love to go.
Yeah,
but so you mentioned shamans a few times. So what exactly is a shaman?
So shamanism is one of the only native religions in Korea, and it's still practiced today. So shamans, or mudang, is the female shaman, and then there's also baksu, is the male shaman. And so there's a whole pantheon of gods similar to other ancient religions and cultures. And so these shamans usually have one sort of patron god that they commune with or get possessed by, is also part of that. And so they historically have been able to see the spirit world and interact with it. And they're the ones who perform exorcisms, or what we would call exorcisms, and different cleansing rites for different places and people. And I don't know how much of that happens to objects specifically, but possibly. Wells, it might happen on wells because water ghosts are scary. But yeah, so that's a very brief, and I am not an expert on shamanism. And I should also specify that a lot of my knowledge is from K-dramas. So it is maybe not accurate, but I would argue that folklore is, or, those kind of things are, it's a oral tradition. They evolve over time, stories change. And so our adaptations in modern media is a continuation of that adaptation. And so it's not necessarily always inaccurate. It's just different from historic folklore. And so that's my soapbox, and I will get off of it now.
I think vibes is a nice answer, though. I could go on vibes. So we basically just need to see if something feels a bit kind of spooky and uncomfortable and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's people who go to, places, supposedly haunted places, and go, oh, I don't like that. This feels bad. Or yeah. You can feel the history sometimes.
Okay, so we go on vibes, we try to find that. And then both of you were mentioning these goblin-type creatures or something that could also... Is that different from a demon?
So I think it kind of depends on how one defines a demon. So in Japanese folklore, there's the yokai, and they're sort of demons, but they're not what we in the West consider demons, which is sort of the opposite of angels. Not exclusively, but that's kind of the idea. They're sort of from the evil side of the underworld and stuff like that. And I think in Korean mythology, it's not necessarily that these creatures are evil inherently. So the dokkaebi it's equated to a goblin, but it's not really. It's sort of a mischievous, trickster creature, and it can grant wishes, which is very cool.
So it's almost more kind of pixies and stuff?
I would say, yeah, maybe not. Well, I guess this is challenging. So I think they're similar to pixies, but in the same way that goblins are, part of the fae, and they sort of trick people. And sometimes the tricking happens to people who deserve it. So like sort of bad people get tricked. And I think that's what the dokkaebi kind of leans into is, getting the comeuppance for, misbehavior, misbehaving people and stuff like that. And so dokkaebi are not inherently bad or good. It just sort of depends on where you are relative to the dokkaebi. So in that show, the K-drama Goblin, he helps certain people, but then sort of hinders other people if he gets annoyed with them. But he's also kind of childish and like petulant, and so he throws little tantrums. And then if he cries, it rains, and so so he's not really bad, but he's not really good.
Yeah, and there's a whole thing with like they kind of interact with people in like Jess said, like a negative and a positive way, but they can also bring you like a disease. So on Jeju Island, which is it's a UNESCO World Heritage Site because shamanism is still practiced there. There's a whole healing ceremony. I think it's gut. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's like a gut, and it's about mental illness. It's to help you drive away the dokkaebi and from the patient, to give away that bad energy. So actually, it's actively causing something to a human. While pixies and fairies, they're more kind of tricksters, and they like to kind of mess with you, but they don't actually cause you harm in that way.
Okay, so they would though sort of appear to us, like we'd be able to actually see them if they were there, or is it also something more, I guess, kind of spiritual, like more sort of vibes based again?
I think there's a level of few different goblins and demons and ghosts. Like they can appear, but they can also just do things to you. Like they can manifest in a physical form, but then they can also be attached to an object or a place.
Yeah. I mean, that's like true in Western culture too. Like there's people who see ghosts and there's people who don't see ghosts, or, fairies, or, other mythical beasts, Bigfoot,
Yeah. And like the Saja boys in K-pop Demon Hunters, Saja is like the Grim Reaper, right? In our idea of what the Grim Reaper is. So
Saja means lion, but it also is part of Chosan Saja, which is like messengers of the underworld. So Shawn Morrisey, he's the folklorist that I mentioned before. He's like, they're psychopumps. And I was like, that is a weird word to use, but it makes sense. But they're basically just, they're the ferrymen. They transport the soul from our world to the underworld. So they're, again, not an evil entity. They are a neutral entity, much like our Grim Reapers, because they don't cause death. They just, are around it, basically.
This is very appropriate because this month in your book club, we're reading Mort by Terry Pratchett. Hey, look, I managed to get Terry Pratchett in there. Yeah.
Oh, I love Mort.
I did it. Yes, we're reading Mort, and which is about, it's so good. And it's about, and indeed it's death, and there's all this stuff about, them saying to Mort, the apprentice to Death, who's saying, but you kill people, and Death's going, no, I don't. I just, they die and I'm there, kind of thing. And it's like, oh, I love that. I love that idea.
See, my favorite thing about the Korean Grim Reaper is that when they appear, then they're actually meant to look like government officials, which I really like, because they're like everyday workers, because they can't be bribed. You can't bribe death. It always comes for you. And so I love the idea that instead of, in Western culture, the Grim Reaper has got his scythe and he's got his big cloak and he's quite scary and things like that. But then in Korean, he's just like everyday governmental official. So he's like, hello, I'm here to take you to the afterlife. Hello. Yeah. You cannot bribe me.
Here's
no.
the paperwork.
Yeah.
I also like that uniform changes and evolves. And so if you watch the historical dramas or fantasy dramas with Grim Reapers in them, they're in the traditional hanbok, but fairly upscale usually. So for lot more silks involved. But then, the more modern takes on it is like a really nice suit. And like in the show Goblin, there's a Grim Reaper and he has like a fun little hat and little accessories and he's very stylish. And I just love that, that adapts too. So it's not this like unified image. It sort of evolves over time.
Yeah. It's so funny, isn't it?
So, okay, so we're looking for, so far, we're looking for potentially like weird vibes objects. We're looking for potentially little kind of spirit / goblin / pixie / something or other that kind of comes out and does stuff. And the I've forgotten what the word is. Gushy? The like ghosts that can maybe kill you in the toilet.
Oh,
yeah. So we're looking for like poltergeist. I mean, honestly, you could say anything to me right now, and I would be like, "Yes, probably."
I'm just hoping I remember.
It is quite late where Tilly is right now.
This is true. Yes.
But so okay, and then in order to expel the demon from the object, we need a shaman.
Yeah, we definitely need a shaman.
Okay.
Yep. Specifically a Korean shaman. If we have a Korean spirit or evil entity or something, I would call a Korean shaman. And they could do a number of things. So you were talking about the gut. And I think I'm trying to remember the difference between a gut and there's another word. But basically there's a rite and a ritual. And so I know we hate the word ritual, but there's like one element of a bigger event.
Ritual. Ritual.
Sorry, continue, Jess.
So there's different things, but like throwing salt is meant as like a cleansing, is like part of the cleansing rite. And then there's the use of red beans, so unbaked red beans. That's a very common thing that comes up in K-dramas as well, but it's part of like even going to events where you could collect bad luck, so like funerals, but also weddings you can collect bad luck. So if you carry a pocket of red beans in your pocket, it's supposed to absorb the bad luck and then you can throw them away later.
Interesting.
But I need that because some weddings I've been to have ended terribly.
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
No, like I'm.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different songs that can be sung and different. And I've never witnessed a real one. I've only watched them in K-dramas. So who knows what happens at these events? We will not say the R word. But yeah, so there's a few ways to cleanse a person or object or place.
So you mentioned songs. I mean, assuming that's then the main part of the K-pop Demon Hunters, because I assume the pop has some sort of relevance.
It seals the Honmoon.
Which is the gate between, hang on, checks notes, the gate between the human and the spirit world?
Well done, Tilly.
Yes. That was really interesting in K-pop Demon Hunters that it shows like flashbacks to the previous generations of these mudang, these like huntrix, shaman type people who would sing these songs to seal the Honmoon. And so the older ones are dressed as shamans, and then you see elements of that in huntrix's outfits and their weapons, which is very cool.
Interesting. Okay. Maybe we could ask the gnomes from the Gnomish Festival to help us and, get some songs going. Or does it have to be like, I guess it has to be the shamans doing it, doesn't it?
I think we could.
I don't know that anybody singing it would have the same effect.
Would work.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think we could play Gangnam Style because I'm pretty sure that Psy was the one that sealed the Honmoon in 2012 and then he just like disappeared. And now we have left with nothing.
No, now we've got K-pop Demon Hunters, which has sealed the Honmoon again. Yeah. But we got to keep it up.
So we can look out for another thing coming out in like 5 to 6 years of another Korean kind of superstar to seal it again.
Honestly, I think BTS is probably going to seal the Honmoon next. They may have done a few times, maybe with like Butter or Permission to Dance.
Though.
Stray Kids,
Stray
they
Kids
could
are
seal
getting
the
up
Honmoon.
there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
A tease. I love a tease. Yeah.
Okay, well maybe we could get on, maybe we could invite one of them. You mentioned in the last episode that a lot of K-pop is now kind of assisting with cultural heritage, preservation and that kind of thing. So maybe we could invite a big like Korean pop star to come and open the exhibition and have them on hand just in case the demons get out of hand and we need to seal the Honmoon.
I think that sounds really good. I would be well up for that if we could afford them. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, RM from BTS he's curating his own show at the LA Museum of Art, LACMA. I don't know. He's curating a show somewhere, and so I feel like he'd do it. He might do it for free.
There we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
we gotta find his people, you know.
Figure out. Yeah. Happen.
Okay. There you go. Okay. Well, I think then we've sorted the quest.
I think so too. It's just with some emails, really.
Yeah, nice. Oh.
Emails, vibes.
Emails.
And some K-dramas.
K-dramas. A good conservator. Don't forget us.
A good conservator.
Oh, know anyone, Jess? Let me know.
I feel like this was, it was fantastical, but also the solution was and wasn't really fantastical at the same time.
But that fits very well with the idea of what were the ones you called like the Grim Reaper ones, because they're just dressed as civil servants. So then that kind of...
We are the civil servants.
Yeah.
Yes, we are the civil servants.
Right? We are the demon possession.
There's one thing about the Saja boys that I would like to raise a point about. So a lot of people are comparing them to Grim Reapers, but if you watch them when they come off stage and they're not their like K-poppy idol facade, they're more like troll-like. They slump, they kind of go, bleh. And so I don't think that they're really Grim Reapers. And Jinu is definitely not a Grim Reaper because he had a human life before. And he remembers it. And I think that Grim Reapers, if they were human before, wouldn't have memories of their human life. And that's my spiel. And also, Grim Reapers would never appear in a group of 5. It would be in like a group of 4 or 3. Because those are less auspicious numbers than 5.
The apocalypse. Yeah.
Yep. Because 4 in Chinese sounds like death. And so it's a very unlucky number. So that would be more likely.
Oh! It all comes together.
Yeah. Okay. There's actually a really good book called Darker by 4. Highly recommend. It's more Chinese mythology than Korean, but it's excellent. Side tangent.
Okay. Well, that's
why I come, guys. This is why I come by every so often, knock on the door, ring a doorbell, whichever one works first.
Yeah, like tune in for when we talk about K-dramas just randomly on a side episode.
Right?
Oh my god. Anytime you want like a side quest episode.
We can just talk about the archaeology. We'll hold you to that.
We can watch K-pop demon hunters on the Discord.
Right? Archaeology of K-pop demon hunters. I think that sounds like an excellent life thing.
Well, because then we could talk about their weapons and whether or not those are historical artifacts or not. Are they new? Do they have them manufactured? I've got so many questions. This could go great.
Okay. Watch out, everyone, for an upcoming live with Jess, where we do a deep dive into the archaeology of K-pop demon hunters. I think that sounds excellent. Maybe I'll have finally watched K-pop demon hunters by that time.
You will have
kind of know what I'm talking about, rather than just being in the background.
She'll be singing your idol soon. I know she will.
Soda pop. It will never leave your head.
Oh my god, soda pop. Yeah.
Well, that's about it for this episode of And My Trial. We hope that you enjoyed this quest. Thank you so much, Jess, for coming to help us out with this particular problem. It was great, as always, to have you join us. And I mean, I've definitely learned a lot. So yeah, thank you so much.
Well, thanks for having me back. It was so fun.
It was real fun.
And thanks for joining us on this quest, everyone. If you enjoy these episodes, please do like, subscribe, follow, etc. wherever you get your podcasts. It really helps to support the show. And if you're interested in hearing more archaeology content, make sure to check out the other shows on the Archaeology Podcast Network. Also, if you're interested to hear more from Jess, you can hear our previous episodes about vampires and the portrait of not Dorian Gray, but his lesser-known cousin, Gorian Dre. And you can also hear her chat with me about mummies over on my podcast, Tea Break Archaeology, aka Tea Break Time Travel as was. If you have any episode ideas or just want to get in touch, you can find all of our contact information as well as links and further information, including a recommended reading list and K-drama watch list from Jess and Ash, all about what we discussed today in the show notes.
Oh, by the way, Tilly, everything was going on. We actually received a new quest today.
Oh, exciting. What is it?
Well, I think we might need the long distance time machine for this one.
The Archaeology Podcast Network is 10 years old this year. Our executive producer is Ashley Airy, our social media coordinator is Matilda Siebrecht, and our chief editor is Rachel Roden. The Archaeology Podcast Network was co-founded by Chris Webster and Tristan Boyle in 2014 and is part of Cultural Media and DigTech LLC.
This has been a presentation of the Archaeology Podcast Network. Visit us on the web for show notes and other podcasts at www.archpodnet.com. Contact us at chris@archaeologypodcastnetwork.com.